to make the country a single party. A constitutional amendment which is known as Section 2A that made it illegal to form any other political party. So from 1982, it remained literally a single party dictatorship. But that is the reason why in that same year there was a coup attempt which did not succeed. But before that, a number of Kenyans were arrested and taken to political detention. Most of them were lecturers at the University of Nairobi. Mukarunganga, people like Professor Katama Mukangi, Professor Willy Mutunga, Dr. Professor Yugi Akongo, quite a number of university lecturers were arrested and detained, and the others, Koigo Amwere, George Anyona, were taken to political detention. So this situation persisted. Some of us were arrested in that year, 1982, after the coup attempt, and taken to political detention. And we stayed there for 6 years. Then in 1988, KANU brought an amendment to his laws, saying that they were bringing what they called direct democracy, where there was a nomination process, where people were lining up behind the candidates. And then the returning officer would count the voters who had lined up behind the candidates. And whoever got the highest number of votes, if you got more than 50% in total, you are automatically declared a member of parliament without having to go to the ballot. That process was abused. And many popular candidates were rigged at that stage, and therefore there was no real proper election in 1988. This now added momentum and anger to the movement for change. Among those people who had been rigged out were the late Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubia. So come 1990, by that time I had been to detention 2 times. The 2 politicians, Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubia, on the 2nd of May 1990, addressed a press conference in which they said that Kenya, the time had come for Kenya to become a multi-party. That Kenyans wanted a multi-party system of government. They were condemned seriously as being ethnic chauvinists.
Gunnebo Safe Store Auto is an automated safe deposit locker system, providing 24/7 secure access to your valuables. It combines next-generation robotized technology and advanced user authentication features without compromising on top-level security.
These were daydreamers. So the kind of machinery at that time set off now to demonize the 2 members of parliament, the 3 former members of parliament. And in the process, of course, a number of very inflammatory statements were made, even by some today politicians who are talking about democracy here. If you go into the archives, you see their names and what they said at that time. So in the process, Kenneth Matiba came to look for me to arrange for a meeting between him and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who's my father. I arranged the meeting. And then we met again. They met again with Mr. Rubia, Mr. Neko. And after lengthy deliberations, the decision was taken that they would be supported. At that same time, they sent the goons to Matiba's home the following day to attack his family. Matiba's wife was very badly wounded, Edith, and she was admitted to Nairobi Hospital where we went to see her. After that, we, myself and Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubia made a statement in which we said we would go to Kamkunji to ask Kenyans if they were ready for multi-party. And we do it on the day of the 7th of July that year, 1990. 7th of July, 1990. So after making that statement, we then now went on to mobilize for the meeting at Kamkunji. But then, of course, the police officers came to block us from meeting each other. They were stationed in my office at Ajib House, Matiba's office, up there on Koinange Street, and Rubia's office, and Paul Mitch's, and Gibson Kamau Korea's. On the 2nd of July, 1990, Matiba and Rubia were arrested and taken to detention. On the 4th of July, I was arrested and taken to detention. That same night, they arrested Gitobu Manyara, they arrested John Hamenwa, they arrested now Justice Mohammed Ibrahim. Paul Mwite went into hiding. Kamau Korea ran into American embassy and sought refuge. Keyote Murungi was in Ethiopia and went to America. But that's how it was. But the International Commission of Jurists came up and made a very powerful lobby for the release of Hamenwa and Manyara, and they were released. As we remained in detention. And as you know, Rubia is the one who was first affected. He got a very serious infection, was taken to hospital. Eventually, he lost his vocal cords and was released. Matiba suffered a stroke in detention and was removed and eventually brought to Nairobi Hospital, after which she was then taken to London for treatment. That completely undermined his health permanently. And these two people eventually died because of not old age at that time, but because of the injuries they sustained while in detention.